and I'm just waiting to add Garima in. All right. And I'm just going to add her. Hi. Yeah, hi. For those of you asking what is this about, we're going to meet someone interesting in just a few seconds, hopefully. So please do bear with us. I'm just waiting to add her on. And we should have her. I can see she's connecting. Perfect. Hi, Garima.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So good to be able to catch you like this online, even if we can't meet physically face to face. It's at least good to see
Yes.
you like this.
Yeah, this makes the world a smaller place. Everybody's connected to through this today.
Absolutely. So for all
Yeah.
those who have already joined in, I can see about 300 plus people are here already. So hi
Hello,
everybody, welcome.
everyone.
Yeah, welcome to this conversation with Garima. My name is Sangeeta. I'm a teammate at Decathlon, and I'm here basically to take you through a conversation with Garima for the next few minutes to get to know about her journey. So in fact, Garima, I know a little bit about you, and I feel it's best for our viewers who have logged in to know who you are and what is it that you do.
So, everyone knows me by name, but I would still like to take my name because I take pride in taking my name. I'm Garima Bhandari, everyone, and thank you, Sangeeta, for inviting me here. Thank you, Decathlon India, for having this session today. So, I am, by my mainstream profession, I am an executive presence coach. So, when I say that, I empower and enable people to be able to foster some formidable impressions to people, the lasting impressions that people remember forever, with the positive impact. That is on the outer side. So I also do inside out transformations for people where I empower them internally, how to catch hold of their own emotions, how to take care of their intellectual well-being, emotional well-being, and physical and mental well-being by helping them and guiding them through yoga practice.
Wow. So if one has to just go through your page, I don't think these are something that come out very obviously about what you do.
Yes, yes. So it's very ambiguous because so many times people are seeing me, teaching them and guiding them yoga. And on the other hand, there are so many people who contact me through my website asking me about, they feel sometimes low in self-esteem. Sometimes they're not able to make a positive impact during their interview. If they are applying for a job, there are many students, there are many corporates who want to understand more about stress management. So there are different things, but everything boils down to how entire image cycle also boils down to how you're feeling on the inside about yourself, how you are lifted on the inside, which reflects on your outside, and that is how people perceive you when they first meet you.
Wow, that's amazing. So I'm very curious to know, how does yoga fit into all of this?
in a very vulnerable state, and my kids were very young at that point of time, and I was also very low on self-esteem. I would say I wasn't someone who you are meeting right now. I was somebody who would not even think that I could speak to even my neighbor. You know, I, for everything that I would do, I would need a validation that, you know, am I doing it right? Am I speaking right? Is this the right decision? Always indecisive. So the only choice I had that time was that, you know, maybe I should just wallow in self-pity, and okay, this was supposed to happen to me and it has happened. But you know, I found solace in my yoga practice. I first came to the mat and I started realizing that I just came to the mat with a little bit of practice that I did during my pregnancy days. So it was getting anyway progressively very difficult for me to just cope up with the pressure that life came up with. You know, there is financial pressure when you're a young single parent. There are two kids, then you have you know, emotionally you're drawn, you're moving to a new city, so there's lots happening in the personal professional front. So I was like, I have to be fit, I have to be physically fit, mentally fit, to be able to wake up every day and say that, you know, I have to show up, you know, show up for my kids, show up for people, no matter how you feel inside. But then I realized that show up was also not enough. You know, you could get dressed, you could go out and you can take on the sessions, and you come back and you feel something is amiss. So that is this kind of solace I was looking for, and I'm so indebted to my yoga practice that when I first came on the mat, it never took me back. It kind of picked me. When I was looking for things, it picked me. Yeah, I would say that.
So how long of a journey with yoga have you had so far?
So I began my practice first in 2015, end of 2015 or mid of 2015, and then I had a long injury, hamstring injury, and I was advised to rest for a long time. So these hurdles were part of the process, and I thought maybe I'm never going to go back, you know, because the
Is it just me? I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I have you back now.
Okay. So I was saying that when I started my practice, I had this hamstring injury, and I couldn't. I thought that maybe I'll have to give up. But then, as I said, that yoga picked me up. So I started reading a lot more about it. I wanted to understand that, you know, more insights about this 5,000-year-old art and science, because there is so many ramifications of yoga that you're confused as to what suits you the best and where you find your grounding. So I read about, I was fortunate to meet my teacher in Delhi, back in Delhi. I started bit of practice here before my ultimate aim was to go to my Param Guru in Mysore. And my teacher here was my path illuminator to take me to my Param Guru, Sharat Joyi in Mysore. And once I went there, that's when I truly understood the entire concept of how yoga can actually holistically, it's an integrated practice, mind-body practice. It can change you and transform you from within.
Right. Wow, that's an amazing journey that you have had. And what's that been
Yes,
like more
thank
in
you.
the sense of, so I know that you said it, you know, you took to yoga when the times were difficult for you because you wanted to also have a peace of mind, but also to, you know, be positive. And that's what you took to yoga for. What else, in what other spaces has yoga added value in your life?
So for me, the biggest thing is that as a parent, I feel that, you know, every time, if like my kids are going through multiple phases, like my daughter is already going through early puberty, my son has you know, issues of if there are two children, the other one gets, you know, like you give her the more attention. So you as a parent, all the time you have to be charged up, and so you cannot go like, you know, had a bad work or something else is not working in my life, so I can just be like, you know, switched off. You can't be. You always have to be alert and switched on, and your guards are always on. So for your kids, you have to be completely like how they say in an aircraft, the air hostess say that first cover your mouth before protecting your child. So it is absolutely true. I need to completely breathe first so that my mind is open, my heart is open to new ideas, knowledge, wisdom, and I am there for them in every way. So this is what yoga practice, the biggest gift of yoga practice for me is to be able to enrich myself and make myself stronger, that come what may, I will be able to face it. If not overcome, I'll be able to face it.
Amazing. You know, when you're telling me all of this, I've usually heard of people take on to sport which are more adrenaline filled, or it's more in terms of, you know, okay, I need to go for a run in order to clear my mind. But everything that you are describing right now, to me, it's as if it's as good as taking, you know, a 1 hour run or a 10-kilometer run. It's a similar kind of an effect that you have. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, yes. What yoga practice does it completely combats your fear hormones. Any of the hormones that bring in fear, or the sad hormones, the melatonin, everything just goes away. And what you have is a fresh release of happy hormones. The endorphins are released, and you instantly feel like, you know, because when you're moving, suppose even in your asana practice, when you're moving, you're syncing it with your breath, there is so much oxygen that is going. And then you practice the retention practice where you're able to hold your breath inside you. It actually travels down because you're trapping the breath inside. So where else will it go? It will automatically fluidly just travel all over the body, and then you feel like everything is activated, you feel energetic, you feel less irritable, your eating pattern becomes streamlined, your focus and concentration is better, you're able to remember and memorize things, your memory is better. So many benefits of yoga.
Wow. I must be very honest and share with you that I do practice some sport, and yoga has been one of them, but it's not a continuous relationship that I have with yoga. What I mean is I go to it when I feel like, but it's not something that I do on a day-to-day basis. And I'm wondering if those who have joined us, I'm sure a lot of them have, at least I hope, because I don't want to be singled out, have an experience like this. Have you come across in your line of work, when you work with different people who've taken to yoga at some point in life, but for whatever reason have not continued it?
Yes, yes, I've met many people who have started the practice, but maybe owing to some injuries or change of the place, because some people prefer only one person to practice with, and then they had to move their bases, shift their bases, or because of the lack of time. Sometimes I have also met people because of lack of inclination. Because where there's a will, there is a way. I always tell that. But I tell them that don't force, because force closes hearts, force closes minds. You have to be open. It will come. There will be a day where you will want that, you know, I really want to roll my mat and I want to get started. So before that, it will not happen. So let it happen. You know, that's what even Patanjali Yoga Sutra says. Sthiram Sukham Asam, steady, comfortable, whenever you are ready.
Right. So, and for you, I want to ask also, Garima, what has that been like for you? You said, you know, it was constant practice that you've been doing now since 2015, and the current situation that we are all undergoing is so different. So what does your day look like with respect to yoga practice and your day-to-day life as well?
So day-to-day life is like every day, and I encounter baffling situations. I would say, you know, sometimes I have a tech crisis, and sometimes like my work is just about to happen, and it just like, you know, I'm supposed to sign up on some deal, and it just like, you know, goes kaput. So, or something at my kids' end, you know, something from the school end, or personally, like, you know, I get caught in some or the other thing. So to overcome all these two situations, as I said, that I'm able to manage my work, which is very, very challenging, because I actually wear multiple hats. Sometimes I have to be this, like, you know, like a proper image consultant where I'm actually training employees or students somewhere in a university. And sometimes I have to be this calm, quaint person, which I really am.
Right.
And then, you know, you like, basically, I said, like, juggling things at home and juggling the challenges of life. So sometimes that gets tricky.
Right.
But if the life is not tricky, then what's the challenge? What's the fun?
Okay, so I'm just getting another message, Garima, and I can see a few people here have also mentioned your video
Yes.
is slightly blurred right now. It was very clear when we started, but now it's slightly blurred.
Okay, so how do I rectify that?
They're saying, is it possible for you to just clear the front camera? I don't know if that's something to do with the spot on your camera.
Okay, clear the camera. Adya, can you give me that t-shirt or anything, a cloth? Maybe I can just
Your kids are with you?
They're just watching something. Today's Saturday, so they are also like super free. So
Yeah.
no class. Is it
Perfect.
clearer?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Is it
So as
better
I
now,
was
guys?
saying
I
that.
think they're messaging. Yeah.
Okay, great. So as I was
Perfect.
saying that I think segregating emotions from the execution part is just a bit of practice that I'm constantly doing every day. That, you know, okay, sometimes I want to take emotional decisions, but I have to be practical. So I think
Right.
yoga gives me that power to be intuitive and take the best decision.
Amazing. So, Garima, I want to ask you from everything that you've seen so far and all that you've experienced with respect to yoga for yourself, but if you have to share, who do you think yoga is for? Who can practice yoga?
Anyone and
Or who
everyone
should?
who's ready to take care of their own life, take a hold of their life and not rely on other people. For instance, I even don't rely on my kids as part of my being. I understand the powerful message of detachment and practice it actively, as my guru explained me, that actively try to wake up and tell yourself every day that, you know, this is a very, you know, when I say nothing lasts forever, it is a very simple thing to say, but understanding and reiterating this to yourself every day will not leave you hurt or will not leave you gloomy towards the end. So you're already prepared that, you know, you came here alone, you're gonna go alone. So that is what is very important, to practice active detachment every day, not just from people, but from material, from things, from everything.
Wow. So what I'm hearing you say is that yoga is really for all age groups. So it doesn't matter
All age
what age you
groups,
are.
no biases, no gender biases, no topographical biases. It knows no religion, no Hindu, no Muslim, no Sikh. Everyone and anyone who has an intention to take care of their emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and physical well-being can start with yoga practice.
Amazing. And let's say I'm a beginner. I know nothing about yoga. What should be my first steps? What should I do?
First step is to not jump into asana practice. I see a lot of students saying that, you know, I just want to learn Surya Namaskar because it encapsulates all these asanas of yoga, and I can just do 10 of these and that's it for me. That's yoga for me. So you have to understand the basic concept, and I want to say this to everyone, that please understand the power of your breath work. You have to first learn how to breathe. When I ask people how to breathe, so they'll be like, this much. And when I say that breathing is, you fill yourself and then you exhale out.
Right.
So that is the breathing we have to understand. And why? Because there will be days during this lockdown, you do not have time for practice. So you're in the kitchen, I'm cooking, but I'm doing this active Ujjayi breathing. So I am taking this portable gift of yoga with me, even when I'm perhaps sometimes, like, you know, on a call or in front of my screen or cooking. So I'm still doing yoga. So mindfulness is very important. Yes.
So you mean you don't need to have a dedicated time for practice of yoga? You can do it anytime. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's the versatility of yoga, because we have to understand that the current situation, the world situation is such that everybody needs some or the other aid. Now we don't have any other physical aids around us, so we're only left with ourselves and our body. There is no equipment, there is no gym. So in that scenario, what we can do is we can help ourselves to fortify our mind and body with this technique of just breathing. I tell people that do not start with physical asana practice. It's not even needed. If you're just able to dedicate 10 minutes on your mat, do it any time of the day. Just before you're about to pass out on your bed, take out 5 minutes and do some bed stretches with breathing. Or you've woken up early morning and you don't feel that you're fresh, feel energized instantly with 5-minute stretches. You did not get time, you're making breakfast, do kitchen yoga, or do desk yoga sitting on your after your work, in between your calls. Even in office, when we go, we take a minute walk towards the canteen. We take breaks, right? So take a break, do the gentle stretches on your desk, on your chair. So that is the versatility. Do it anytime, anywhere. Just suit your daily schedule. Do not think that अरे मुझे 4 बजे उठना पड़ेगा सुबह, खाली पेट, मुझे ऐसे 2 घंटा. No, then pressure kills everything. I said in the start that force kills everything. We have to be open. Okay, I can do it.
Amazing. I'm very curious to know, for you, do you have any go-to, any asana or any breathing technique for you, which is like your go-to, especially during this stressful time, or, you know, this period of being in lockdown where everything is, nothing is for sure. So especially during these times, is there something which is like, acha, this is my go-to, mujhe yahi karna hai abhi?
Yeah, so when I want to crazy scream on my kids and they are fighting with each other, and the question is like, who do you love more? So imagine a mother being questioned from her children, who do you love more? So in that situation, I tell them, please go away, disappear. And then I practice this Brahmari Pranayama, which I find like extremely therapeutic. All you have to do is just, you see this cartilage in your ears right here. You press it with your thumbs like this, and we create this sound of honeybee. So honeybee does like so external vibrations are there in your life. So to cut down those external sounds, we bring this sound within our own mind and our own body. So we press this here, and then we can even close our eyes like this. We inhale and we exhale by pressing the cartilage like this intermittently, like this, and then we do inhale and exhale. So when somebody sees, it might look very, very funny to look at that, you know, is she all right? That sound. But this particular pranayama practice is so powerful. First of all, it instantly calms your nervous system. So any stress goes away. Your thoughts, which are going like fluctuating, they come back. And also, if you have any sinusitis issue, you have congestion in your chest, your throat area is not clear, your eyesight is poor, it is so good for your over ENT health. Sinusitis, insomnia, if you don't get proper sleep, it is so this one particular practice, as you said, go to, I would say it's Brahmari Pranayama.
Oh, amazing. I'm getting some messages here saying I'm trying it right now. So that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Keep tagging Decathlon and share,
and you,
so that I can watch it. And me too, yes.
It's amazing. I also wanted to ask you, Garima, because I remember when I was much younger, for one of the medical concerns that I had, my doctor had recommended that I practice yoga. And more today, I'm seeing this as a recommendation that a lot of people are giving to say that, you know, practice yoga. What is your take on it?
Yes, because the current need of the hour is that, you know, I'm so happy that finally everybody is coming back to this ancient art and science and understanding the amazing health benefits. We also have to understand that yoga is not a cure for any of the ailments that we encounter in our day-to-day life, but yoga is definitely a very big preventive method, I would say. As a precaution, we can start young. We can start young with our kids and empower them to strengthen their lung capacity, because right now the current virus is attacking the lungs, and in everyday's life we are just using 20% of our lung capacity, whereas we can, with yoga, we can actually use up to 80% of our lung capacity if we do the yogic breathing. That's why I keep stressing on breathing so much. So that's on the lung level. But if we just 1 minute, Adi, could you please shut the window, because I can see like just the mosquitoes coming to say hi to me. Second thing, what it does, it boosts up our defense mechanism of the body, which is the immunity, as we call it. So already we are empowered that none of the ailments would enter our body, because the immunity will say, shush, take a side, you know, I'm more stronger than you. That's what it does. That is on the physical part. Then for the mind, because these days everybody is so stressed about the future, that the mental issues are escalating globally. So this practice, as I said, it's a mind-body technique and a powerful tool that we have with us, without any medicinal side effects. Also, if you go to allopathic doctors for our socio-psycho disorders or any of the ailments, we discuss with them. We are definitely kept on medication, which have side effects. But this is a natural, आपको एक तरह का आपका वो है, sedative है, to get a sound sleep, to be perfectly balanced in harmony with your outside and your inside.
Right. You know, when you were sharing this, I remembered the first time when I tried surfing. So I was discovering the sport of surfing.
Wow, you're like so multi-talented.
No, it's nothing about talent. That's why I said I discovered. I'm not a surfer. I just did it one time. But even before we could get on the board, a lot of exercises that they were giving us was linked to yoga. And in fact, somebody here also asked here on the questions that I see people asking. One of them had also asked how yoga can help other athletes. And I just can link it to this one experience that I had, where they had asked me to do a lot of breathing exercises even before I could get onto the surfboard. So I'm just wondering, in your experience, have you come across this, where for other athletes to enhance their sporting practice, can yoga help in this way as well?
Yes, yes. Recently, I was in touch with this Bangalore-based startup who is formed by a group of runners. So they are part of this Pinkathon, and they do a lot of marathons, and they also like, you know, there some of them who one of the founder actually ran for almost 128 kilometers in Dubai. From Dubai to Abu Dhabi non-stop. So these are like great achievers, and for them, they were, I was having a conversation with them, they told me one of my video which I specifically made for yoga for runners actually helps them so much, because that was a complete breakdown for only for their leg area, how it gets stressed, and how in between they can actually take breaks when they're taking breaks when they're continuously running. So for runners, for athletes, it's definitely a big, I would say that, you know, perhaps they looked at it in a stretching way, but then when they sink breath with it, they felt that, you know, it was a different ball game altogether.
Amazing. Garima, in your life today, do you practice yoga every day?
Every day, honestly, during this COVID lockdown, I do not have the time leeway to do a full-fledged peaceful practice, because I don't like a very distracted practice that, you know, I have a phone ringing and then I have a class to take, and then my kids are calling me that we can't enter a Zoom class, there is some technical glitch. Then, you know, some of the other things are happening, because 24/7 you're locked inside and you have to manage home also. So it's not possible for me to practice full-fledged. And I I also want to urge people that if you're not able to practice your entire regime that you have, it's okay to let go. Do not get drenched or wallowed that in guilt that, oh my God, I'm not able to. Just do whatever best you can, and
Right.
stick to more of karma and bhakti yoga, which is taking care of your household, taking care of your kids, taking care of your loved ones, and taking care of yourself.
I'm so glad you brought that in, because as of today, the only exercise that I have had throughout this lockdown period is jhadu pocha at home. And that is
Which is a wonderful
so
exercise, because that is taking us back to our roots, where we actually sit on the floor and do that motion.
Right.
So it is a natural hip opener and a wonderful exercise. So I do that too. I don't like the mop with the hand. You know, I like to do it floor, so that there is oblique twisting, there is hip opening, there is abdominal compressing.
Wow.
So many
core
movements.
exercises basically done.
Yes, even the wrists. Imagine the wrists, the hands, the shoulders are moving. There's lots happening actually in the pocha. So you're doing the best thing.
Amazing. Thank you. So I don't feel all alone anyway. I want to know, post this situation, because we've spoken a lot about how it can help us during stressful time. But in non-stressful time, let's say we are, and sooner than later, we are all back in normalcy. And once that is done, perfect. Yes, it's good again.
Yeah, I don't know what happens in between.
No
Yeah.
problem. That's okay. So once we get back to the situation, once there's no more lockdown, and hopefully we've arrested and found a cure for COVID and a vaccine, how can one continue to keep yoga in mind? Basically, to say that it's not just when you're stressed or when you have an emotional release that you have to go to yoga, but what I know of is that yoga can be part of your day-to-day life as well.
Absolutely. I never say that, do yoga every day and then only you're going to get your desired results. If you have an intention and time to do it just twice a week, thrice a week, do that. As I said initially, just tweak and incorporate it in your daily lifestyle so that it becomes a regime in your life. So you don't have to dedicatedly compromise on another activity to be able to, like, don't skip your breakfast because you were doing yoga and now you're late for office. So because I was doing yoga, I skipped my breakfast. That's going to give you, that's going to do more harm to you. If you, you skip meals, you're going to be like irritable and empty stomach. You won't be able to focus. And if your first half of the day goes for a toss, the entire day goes less productive. So we must be very mindful of these small things, that in the endeavor of doing something which is not in your scope of time, you're going to actually harm yourself more. So just do it twice a week, or only on the weekends, or whatever you feel like.
So when you find time, you do it then.
Yes, just suit yourself. Sorry, I think my screen. Yes.
Yeah, it's okay now. Can I ask you, Garima, for you, because I spoke to you some time ago as well, and you were telling me that when you first started, it was a book that got you started on yoga. And someone here has also asked if you could recommend any more books linked to yoga that people can refer to.
There are a lot of books on yoga. And there is this one particular book which I read was in Hindi. I'm not able to recollect the name, but there are many, like, because I follow and I practice Ashtanga yoga. So there's a beautiful book written by our super guru, Sharad Guru's grandfather, K. Patabi Joy. So he has written about the ancient practice of this Ashtanga and how it came into being. What are the 8 parts of Ashtanga yoga, and the fundamentals of breathing, fundamentals of how you can break each and every asana, understanding the entire breath work. So that is a very beautiful book, but there are many books available. I mean, you just have to first understand about breathing. So search for a book which is
and if I want to, let's say tomorrow or even today at the end of this, if I want to take up something for myself and get started on yoga, what would your recommendations be?
If you want to start?
Yeah. If I have access today to the internet as well. Unfortunately, I don't have access to books as much as I would like it because I can't order them anymore. So what would you recommend for me to get started? Because you mentioned that it's breathing that's really important. So is there any go-to or any advice that you can share on what I can take up for myself?
So as anyone who has never encountered the yoga practice before or experienced it, so for them, I would highly recommend that just for first 10 days, just do Ujjayi breathing. Let the breath come in and go out. It already does passively, but then just focus on, and you bring all your attention towards how it is coming in, where it is going, where you can allow it to go, wherever you want it to reach. Understanding that, you know, you have to take your breath in and try to hold it for 1 or 2 seconds, 3 seconds, gradually increase a second every day. By the end of the 10th day, you will see that now I can hear to the rhythm of my breath. Because till now I was just breathing. Because I'm alive, I'm already breathing. It is a natural mechanism that is happening. But with awareness, you will be able to hear the sound also and also understand the rhythm. So first 10 days, just do that. Then start movement and opening your back and opening your spine, opening your hips, heart, whatever you want to open with asana practice.
Ah, amazing. And do you also take classes, Garima?
Yes, I take it through my own channel. I have a YouTube channel also called Garima Bhandari. Instagram, I take live classes, and also I'm taking regular classes now on Book My Show. The classes are free. People can register. Thrice a week, I'm also taking classes now on fraternity. So people have posted stories across all my social media, Instagram. They can just have an access and start if they want one-on-one with me. I'm available everywhere on my social media also.
Amazing. That's perfect. And I'm also looking at the time check and I'm getting a message here saying, okay, it's great in terms of time as well. Is there anything that you would like to leave our viewers with who are with us right now?
Yes, so anyone and everyone who joined in, first of all, a huge thank you. And if you want to know more about me and talk to me, then every day at 7 p.m. I'm live on my YouTube channel. It's called Garima Bhandari. You can come and speak to me, ask me your questions, anything you want to know about starting the yoga practice, or anything that bothers you, even if it is not about yoga practice, you just feel like speaking to each other, because right now is the need of the hour where we need to just be there for each other in whatever capacity we can be. So just tune in and join me there every day. And yoga is not a workout, it's a work within. So I'll help you and guide you through the process.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time and being with us, Garima. On behalf of Decathlon, I would like to say thank you personally, and it was a pleasure for me to interact with you, albeit in a digital face-to-face format, but it was good nonetheless. And thanks to everybody that joined us online here as well. She's already given you the credentials of how to get in touch with her. Please do get in touch with her in the different formats she's mentioned. You can also leave us a message on our page, and we'll try our best to get back to you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sangeeta, for having me. Thank you so much for having me. Wonderful session today. See you.
Stay safe.